What's up, guys? This is your boy, John. Um, Here again to talk about some social issues that are very pertinent to our communities and society in general. You know, the subject is always a controversial and sensitive subject, and that's racism in the United States. And I just want to air my perspective as an immigrant from Africa to the issue of racism. First, I want to be very clear that I am not here to say that racism does not exist. That is not what I'm here to say. But I'm not also here to say that racism or America is racist. That is not true. When I hear people try to portray the United States as a country of racism, I totally disagree. Instead, I try to redirect people to understand that discrimination exists. And this has been all through the history of mankind, that discrimination exists. Now, people often call everything racism. Why? Because I feel like the term racism uh, gets a lot of attention, and it's more like a selling word, a sellable word. Let me use that word. And so everything is racism. But I don't also forget that the same people, and what really surprises me the most is Africans come to the United States and complain of racism. But my question is, are these people forgetting where they come from in Africa? Right now in Africa, Nigerians and South Africans don't even get along. Nigerians and South Africans are being denied health care. Nigerians in South Africa are being chased around for whatever reason. And I'm not trying to blame South Africans for that. They have right to protect and do whatever to protect their nation. Okay? So, is that racism? This is an African versus an African. Oh, that is not racism, huh? But can you imagine if those actions were being done by a white man? Then, oh, it's a racist. It's racist. It's racism. Okay. Now let's even bring it down all the way to Nigeria itself, because I use Nigeria because that's where I'm from, and it's a terrain that I've really understood. Nigeria, made up of different ethnic groups and cultures and tribes. I am telling you that within Nigeria, the Yorubas don't want to even rent. I'm not talking about gifting, renting a place, renting their houses to the Igbos. They frowned at renting their places to the Igbos. Again, these are tribes within Nigeria. These are tribes within the same country. These are people of the same land and nation. Is that racism? Can you imagine if a white man do that to a black man here in the United States? It would have been called racism of the highest order. So you see, humans have always had discrimination, have reasons to discriminate. And I'm not saying that's right in itself. But discrimination should be called discrimination, not racism. No, oh, he does not agree with me because of my skin color. No. And if anyone does that in 2026, the person is sick, because God deep down the skin of every human being, we see the same red blood, the same everything inside. So for your judgment to be based on a skin layer would be insanity of the highest order. So, coming back down to the United States, I would tell you, man, yes, people discriminate. I have been discriminated against, not even by white men, but by fellow black people, fellow black men. Okay, we as immigrants are easily discriminated against because of our accent and all that stuff, and the way we speak, the way we react, the way we say things. Yes, that's understandable. And I'm not blaming those doing that, to be honest with you, because that's just human nature. Where we don't understand people, we react to them in a certain way, and it's just normal. And I'm not trying to justify discrimination in any way, but these are normal human behavior. This should not be mistaken for racism. Everything is racism. You disagree with, if everything is racism, think about what's going on in Chicago. If it was between white and black, oh no, nobody talks about that. And unfortunately, the media, because the word racism is sellable, the media want to promote it so much. Because I feel like it's a business. It's a lot of money in it. Because what's happening in Chicago and some of these cities where black people are consistently fighting and killing one another, if it was between a white versus black, then it would have been, racism. Listen, I am not saying there is no racism. But because of the word has been so casually used in every situation, the word racism make no sense anymore. In fact, the real victim of racism are no longer heard because racism is like nothing. And it's high time we pay attention to that. And for those who are benefiting from promoting this word, for those making money from that term, they should be careful. Because remember, what goes around comes around. You might profit from that word today, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. Because everything should not be tailored and labeled racism. People disagree to agree. People have reason to disagree. And that should not be promoted as racism, because that's what I notice. Every damn thing in the United States, everything, as long as a white man is involved, is racism. This is my opinion. Again, I'm not saying there is no racism. But because the word has been so abused, it's watered down the meaning of racism. Let's be very careful. Because at the end of the day, we are one people, no matter where you come from. And discrimination will always exist. Discrimination existed when the word, for those who are Christian, between Cain and Abel in the Bible, just two people. For total population on earth at that point, maybe, as recorded by the Bible, was probably like 4 or 5 or 6 people. Yet, they had disagreement. Yet, they discriminated. Yet, the other one killed the other. So these things are inherent in humans' DNA. Discrimination. We discriminate every day. Even the best human being discriminate on daily basis, stereotyped on daily basis. That does not mean that we necessarily that doesn't mean that you're necessarily a bad person. It's just the way the human brain and mind is wired. It's a different thing when you take it to a different level of trying to hurt another person or trying to harm another person in one way or the other. But to tell me that every form of discrimination is racism, come on. To be clear, from my experience and personal experience, the United States is not a racist nation. At least I haven't experienced what I would call racism. I have experienced discrimination. I've experienced people stereotyping. I myself have stereotyped. I can't run away from that. I have experienced people reacted to me a certain way because of the way my accent sound, or because of the way I react and say things. But all of this, nothing should be called racism in there. Discrimination is the right word. And for those benefited from the word racist and racism, you're not doing yourself a favor. You're destroying the unity that's supposed to exist among humans, because we are one people under God. At the end of the day, we are meant to love one another. We can disagree, but don't create division with the term racism. Thank you. This is my opinion. Please Do not forget to subscribe, hit the like button, share this video to those who might care, and you can disagree with me. Put that in the comment section. Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye.